This is page 2 of your 3.3 notes. For questions 5 and 6, you have this A, B, C, D, E steps we need to do. So we'll just take it one at a time. What they've given to you is an expression for a polynomial in factor form. It's kind of nice, but unfortunately, they want your answer in standard form. So standard form means we're going to have to get rid of the parentheses. So you can choose to multiply any of these together first. I don't know, I guess just start with your first two here. We're going to have to FOIL those. So again, we're just going to FOIL these two, and we'll get x squared plus 3x minus 1x minus 3 times x plus 4. Go ahead and group together what you can. Combine your like terms here to make it x squared plus 2x minus 3 times x plus 4. Now you've done this before. It's not the prettiest thing you ever did, but you can do it. You're going to distribute each one of these to both the x and the 4. So we'll have x to the third plus 4x squared. If you give a 2x to both, we have a plus 2x squared plus 8x. And if you give a negative 3 to both, minus 3x minus 12. Make sure you have all of those terms that match mine. And then standard form, you want to start with your highest exponent and work your way down. So we're going to start with x to the third. For your squares, they're both right here. That's convenient. Plus 6x squared. So we can mark these off. 8x minus 3x is positive 5x, and your constant term is a minus 12. So that is part A. For part B, classify the polynomial by degree. So using part A, part B and C kind of go together. It's by degree and number of terms. So the degree is your highest exponent. It's an x to the third. So that means it's cubic. In part C, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. So we're just going to call it a polynomial. For part D, this is your end behavior. This is what you talked about hopefully yesterday in 3.2. So we write it as x goes to negative infinity. So meaning if you go all the way to the left on your graph, where is it going? Your y. So the question is it going up forever or down forever? So if you remember, if you have a positive coefficient here, there's no negative, so it is positive. And if you have an odd degree, it's going to overall be going up and to the right. So if you just think about how a regular snake looks, it looks something like that. So as you're going on the x's to negative infinity, meaning you're going to the left, it's going down. So we could say y is also going to negative infinity. But as x goes to positive infinity, meaning to the right, it's going up and to the right. So y is also going to positive infinity. And the last part, part E, I feel like we kind of should have started with part E because you're using this right here. In order to get the zeros, you're going to set each factor equal to 0. And you guys have done this before. Most of you recognize the pattern. If you set each factor equal to 0, and it's just x plus or minus some number, you could officially do the work, but I think you all know you end up with the opposite number. If you have x plus 3, your x-intercept is negative 3. If you've got x plus 4, you'd have to subtract 4 from each side and get x is negative 4. that is number 5. Number 6, we're going to do similarly. It looks a little bit different, but it's the exact same idea. Going in order, I'm going to do this part first. It's x plus 1 quantity squared. So if we square something, we multiply it by itself. So I'm just going to do that part. We'll get x squared plus 1x plus 1x plus 1. Bring your x minus 2 down. Combine what you can here. We'll get x squared plus 2x plus 1 times x minus 2. And again, you have to distribute all 3 of these guys to the x and the 2. Got x cubed minus 2x squared. If I give the 2x to both of them, I've got plus 2x squared minus 4x. And if I distribute the 1, plus 1x minus 2. This is nice. Cancel those. Combine those. And we've got x cubed minus 3x minus 2. That's your answer for part A. That's your standard form. Part B. What's it say? Classify the polynomial by degree. You have an x to the 3rd here. So, again, it is cubic. Part C. Classify the polynomial by the number of terms. Your x squareds cancel this time, so it turns out we only have 1, 2, 3 terms. So it is a trinomial. Part D is your end behavior, and it's going to work out the exact same way. Since you have a positive x to the 3rd, again, it's overall going to look something like a snake. So as x goes all the way to the left to negative infinity, your y values go downhill, so also to negative infinity. As your x's go to the right, which is positive infinity, we're going to the right and up. So your y values are also going to positive infinity. And again, in part E, you need to refer back to the factored form that we started with. So if you wanted to, you could write x plus 1 equals 0, x plus 1 equals 0. But they're the same, so they're both going to give you -1. So you don't really need to.
Good evening, Rams. Please pardon the interruption for one brief announcement. Just a reminder that the College Planning Night for seniors will start in about 7 minutes in the Media Center. Also, the College Planning Night for juniors will start in approximately 7 minutes in the PAC. So College Planning Nights will get started here in about 6 or 7 minutes in the Media Center for seniors and in the PAC for juniors. Following those planning meetings, there will be a financial information session presented by a representative from the University of Cincinnati. That will start at 7 p.m. in the PAC. Thanks so much, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Okay, so before Mr. Martin interrupted me there, we have x plus 1 equals 0 and x plus 1 equals 0, because technically we had it 2 times here, but of course you don't really need to write it 2 times, so don't waste your time. X minus 2 equals 0 gives us an x-intercept of 2. So you have something that kind of sort of looks like a snake, and your x-intercepts are at -1 and 2.